Welcome back to another deep dive. Last time, remember, we dug into that BDI's diagnostic review process,
Yeah.
uncovering all those sneaky risks that you might not even know are there.
The ones that keep you up at night.
Exactly. And a lot of you were really interested in seeing, real-world examples of how this works. So
Well,
that's exactly what we're diving into today. We got some really interesting stories lined up.
I think you'll find them pretty fascinating.
Yeah, showing how BDI has helped companies in all sorts of industries tackle some really unique challenges.
And I think what's so compelling is that, each story is a little different,
Right.
but the underlying principle is the same. This proactive risk management, it can really save you a lot of trouble down the line.
For sure. Okay, so let's jump into our first case, all right? So picture this, a Texas contractor.
Okay.
They're about to land this huge project. Things are looking good.
Awesome.
But during the diagnostic review, BDI uncovered a potential problem, kind of like a time bomb ticking away in their insurance. Yeah, they were lacking something called additional insured and contractual liability coverage.
Oh, those are big ones.
Yeah, and I know when people hear those terms, their eyes kind of glaze over.
It can be a little confusing.
So can you break it down for us? Like, in plain English, what does that actually mean for a business owner?
Sure. So imagine, right, you've got a subcontractor on this project, and they have a little accident.
Let's say.
Let's say, I don't know, their scaffolding collapses.
Oh, no.
Causes some damage. Now, without that additional insured coverage, the contractor, they could be on the hook for the whole thing.
Wow.
And we could be talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits.
That is not good. So what did BDI do to help?
So we worked with the contractor, right? We updated their policy, made sure they had the right coverage for these big, high-value projects.
Okay.
And wouldn't you know it, just a few months later, a subcontractor's scaffolding actually did collapse.
Oh, wow, you're kidding.
Yeah, caused a ton of damage.
Talk about dodging a bullet.
I know, right? That updated coverage, it protected them from a lawsuit that could have been devastating.
Yeah,
And they were able to keep the project going,
that's huge.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how important it is to really understand your insurance policy.
Right.
All those little details.
Yeah, so takeaway number one.
All right.
Additional insured coverage. It's not just jargon.
Nope.
It's like essential protection.
Especially in industries like construction.
Exactly. All right, so for our next story, we're moving from those construction sites to the digital world.
Okay.
We've got a rapidly growing IT firm here in Texas,
All right.
and they're handling sensitive data for some major healthcare companies.
Big responsibility.
Yes, they knew cybersecurity was important, and they had cyber liability insurance.
Right.
But they just figured they were good to go.
Assume they were covered.
Yeah, but during the review, BDI found that their coverage was actually pretty outdated.
Yeah, it happens more often than you think. Oh, yeah. Their limits were way too low for the kind of data they were working with, and they were missing some important endorsements.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
Like for things like regulatory fines and ransom payments.
I've heard those cyberattacks can be super expensive.
Yeah, they can be devastating, especially for a growing business.
So what happened to this IT firm? Did they end up facing one of those attacks?
You know it.
Oh, no.
Shortly after our review, they got hit with ransomware. The whole client database was locked down.
Awful.
Yeah, and they were looking at a huge ransom demand.
Nightmare. So what happened? Were they able to recover?
Thankfully, they had taken our advice and updated their policy, so that enhanced cyber coverage kicked in, and it covered that ransom payment, the legal fees,
Wow.
even the losses from, not being able to operate while their systems were down.
So they were completely shut down.
Pretty much. It could have been a total disaster, but they were back up and running pretty quickly.
That's incredible. So takeaway number 2, cyber threats, they're changing all the time.
Right.
Businesses really need to make sure their insurance keeps up?
Absolutely. What worked a few years ago might not cut it today.
Exactly. And those specific endorsements for things like you said, the fines and ransom payment.
Most basic cyber policies, they don't cover that.
And those costs can be huge. Right, for our next story, let's step into retail.
Okay, I like it.
We've got this chain of stores all across Texas. They're doing well.
Right.
But they're feeling that pinch of rising insurance costs.
Yeah, I hear that a lot these days.
Yeah, and they felt like they were overpaying, but they just didn't know where to start.
It can be overwhelming, for sure.
So they went with BDI's diagnostic review, hoping to get some clarity.
A good first step.
I bet they weren't expecting what BDI found.
You're telling me?
So what was it? What did you find?
They had outdated property valuations
Okay.
and redundant coverage across all their different locations.
So they were paying twice for the same thing.
Basically, yeah. In some cases.
Wow, I bet that's more common than people realize.
Oh, it happens all the time.
So what did you do to help them out?
Well, we help them, restructure their policies, consolidate some things, update those property values to what they actually are today.
Okay.
And you know what? That resulted in a 15% reduction in their insurance costs.
15%, that's not bad at all. But did they have to give up any coverage to get those savings?
Not at all. In fact, their coverage actually got better.
How'd you do that?
We eliminated all those redundancies and made sure they were covered where they needed to be.
Smart. So they were saving money and had better coverage.
Exactly. It was a win-win.
And then, get this, their flagship store had a major problem a few months later.
Uh-oh. What happened?
A pipe burst, flooded the whole place.
Yeah.
But luckily they were covered, right?
Oh, yeah, because they had updated their policy, remember? They were totally covered for the repairs and were able to reopen quickly. No big financial hit.
So it really is about optimizing your insurance, not just saving money.
Right. It's about making sure you're protected when something bad happens.
That's a great example of how BDI's expertise can lead to, both savings and peace of mind.
Exactly.
I'm starting to think everyone needs a diagnostic review.
It's worth considering, for sure.
Yeah. All right, one last story before we go on.
Okay, hit me.
This one, I think a lot of business owners can relate to this. Imagine a company, they're growing super fast.
Right.
They're so focused on expansion that they just renew their insurance every year without even thinking about it.
Set it and forget it. Right.
Exactly. And with insurance, that could be a problem.
Definitely.
So what did BDI find when they took a closer look at this company's insurance?
Well, their coverage was all over the place.
What do you mean?
With multiple different carriers.
Okay.
Leading to, overlap, unnecessary add-ons. They were paying for things they didn't even need.
So basically, more complexity, no benefit.
Exactly.
How did BDI help?
We got them all under one roof, streamlined their deductibles, and increased their coverage limits.
Okay, and what was the impact?
A $50,000 annual premium savings.
$50,000? You're kidding!
No, they were thrilled, obviously, but also kind of surprised.
I bet.
They had no idea they were spending that much extra. This is why that diagnostic review is so valuable.
Right.
It finds savings you wouldn't even know to look for.
Amazing. So less money, better coverage, win-win.
You got it.
Oh, there's one more thing, right? You added a food contamination endorsement to their policy.
Yeah, how about that?
Why was that necessary?
Well, as part of our review, we really dive deep into the business, their operations, their plans for the future. We figured out that food contamination was a potential risk for this company.
Interesting.
Even though they hadn't really considered it.
That's proactive.
Right. It's not just about fixing problems. It's about anticipating them.
I like it. So the diagnostic review is about making sure your insurance keeps up with your business.
Exactly.
I'm seeing a theme here. BDI is all about finding those hidden things.
Those little details.
And making sure businesses are protected. We'll be back after a quick no break today. We got more to talk about.
Let's keep going.
More fascinating stories.
Can't wait.
Okay, so we've seen how BDI helped that contractor dodge a lawsuit, an IT firm survive that ransomware attack, and a retail chain deal with rising costs and that crazy flood. But there's more. This time we're going back to construction. We've got a company, they're facing this challenge. I think a lot of businesses deal with this. Insurance premiums going through the roof.
Yeah, they'd been with the same insurer forever, and then boom. Huge premium increases. Didn't seem fair at all.
It's like you're loyal, and then they hit you with that. So what did they do?
They came to BDI hoping for a solution, right? And what we found during the diagnostic review, their insurer wasn't really the best fit anymore. They needed someone who really got construction, the risks involved.
So sometimes it's not about the cheapest insurance. It's about the right coverage, the right partner.
Exactly. Someone who speaks your language. So we went to some other carriers, ones that focused on construction, and made a case for this company.
So BDI's like their advocate, shopping around for a better deal. Did it work?
Oh, yeah, big time. We got them a 20% reduction in their premiums.
Right.
By switching to a carrier that understood construction.
20%, that's huge.
And it gets better. This new carrier, they had better risk management support, lower deductibles on those general liability claims.
So less money, better coverage, and better support. That's pretty amazing. But did it actually make a difference?
Oh, yeah, it did. About 6 months later, a subcontractor on one of their projects, they filed a claim.
Oh.
And because of those low deductibles that BDI negotiated, the contractor saved thousands of dollars.
See, it's real-world stuff, not just talk. BDI knows how to impact a business's bottom line. Okay, for our last story, let's switch gears. Trucking. We got this Texas freight company. They're dealing with those crazy insurance premiums that everyone in trucking seems to face.
It's a constant battle, right? Accidents, claims, costs going up. It's tough. This company, they felt stuck just accepting those premium increases as part of life.
But BDI doesn't just accept things, right? You dig deeper. What did you find this time?
We found this special program just for trucking insurance. Kind of flying under the radar, Not your usual broker stuff, but it had everything this company needed: lower rates, safety training stuff to keep those premiums down, and flexible payments perfect for mid-size fleets.
So it was like a hidden treasure, this program made just for them.
Pretty much. And the impact, they saved $75,000 a year on premiums.
$75,000. You're making this up.
Nope, it's real. And in trucking, those margins are tight. That kind of savings is huge.
Absolutely. But wait, you mentioned safety training too, right?
Oh, yeah. This wasn't just about saving money. They got a dedicated risk advisor, someone to help them out, set up safety programs for their drivers, reduce those future claims,
So safer and cheaper. Talk about a win-win. This program sounds perfect. How did BDI even know about it? It's not your average broker thing.
Well, that's where BDI signs. We're always looking, researching, finding those programs that could really help our clients. We don't just stick with the obvious. We go the extra mile.
It's like having a secret weapon in the insurance world. Options most people don't even know exist.
That's us.
These stories have been incredible.
It's amazing how that diagnostic review works in the real world, right?
Yeah. We've seen construction, IT, retail, now trucking, different industries, different problems, and every time BDI found those hidden risks, made the coverage better, and saved them money.
It's all about being proactive, right?
You just never know what's looking out there, those risks you haven't thought of.
And that's exactly what I want to leave our listener with today.
Okay, hit us with it.
No matter what you do, no matter how did you think your insurance is, it's always worth taking a closer look.
Going through all these stories, it really makes a big risk management. It's not just a one-time thing, right?
You hit the nail on the head. It's a constant thing. The business world, it's always changing, new risks popping up, companies growing. And what worked last year, well, it might not be enough today.
So it's not enough to just do a diagnostic review and then forget about it?
Exactly. It's about finding an advisor you trust, like BDI, someone to help you navigate all those changes, make sure your insurance keeps up.
But a partner, right? Someone looking out for you, helping you stay ahead of the game.
That's what we're all about at BDI. We don't just sell policies. We get to know your business, what you need, and we're there to support you all the way.
I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners. If you're thinking about your insurance, give BDI a call. They know their stuff, and they really care about helping businesses succeed.
We're always here to help. Don't wait for a disaster to happen.
Wise words. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the real-world impact of BDI's diagnostic review. We've seen it all: better protection, peace of mind, and saving money. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay protected.